That's what we fight for. That's what we believe in. Okay, well, there it is. There's the book. So I've done the book thing. There you go. Congratulations on that. You were at a book signing earlier this afternoon.
Yes.
How did that go?
It went well. It went well.
Yeah? A lot of liberals from the convention came over?
A lot of liberals and also a lot of non-partisans who were interested.
Yeah? What kind of questions were they asking you?
Oh, they were just interested, first of all, was it related to philosophy or related to the party, and was it related to the old traditional ideas, or where was it going moving forward?
Well, maybe you could tell us about some of that. What exactly is the focus, the premise of new liberalism?
Well, really at the heart of new liberalism is the idea of the future itself. If you look at the key challenges of our time, climate change, the growing debt and deficits, and the growing inequalities, what makes them different is that they're not only threats to our generation, but they're threats to the freedoms of future generations. And so we need to modernize and adapt our politics to consider that fact.
And how... That message is that message for young liberals, or it's got to be a message for all liberals, doesn't it?
It's a message for all.
For the old guard liberals as well as the young guard liberals. Do you still see that as a bit of a divide within the party? I think necessarily. I
don't think there's a problem within the party. I think that's just a natural fact of society. That there are going to be debates depending on your viewpoint of society. Yeah,
55-year-olds don't think the same as 23-year-olds. Is that possible?
Yeah.
But of course, you got to be able to bring all that together to be a successful party, don't you?
Yeah, and that's why I argue in my book that taking these reforms will not only be better in the long term, but the short term as well. So, for instance, in climate change, you can create green jobs of the future right here at home. Or if you look at our debt and deficits, we can help create greater global financial stability.
All right, let's take some calls and see what people would like to tell us. Here's Mary Elena calling from Saskatoon. Mary Elena, what do you think? What are your thoughts about today?
Hello.
Hi.
I was to be delegate and I couldn't go.
Oh, too bad.
And so that I had to stay and watch it on the CPAC and heckled.
You heckled your TV?
Pardon me?
You heckled your TV?
Yes, I did.
All right.
And I heckled a lot of the resolutions, and I particularly bothered me the supporter category that I was supposed to beforehand. I would have spoken against it vigorously. It is a very kind of a slipshod, cheap trick trying to create an illusion of that there's more members are going to be coming in, when in fact Alberta Liberal Party tried that. And there were a couple of delegates spoke very eloquently, but they weren't listened to, that it was a disaster. They had a lot of members, supporters come in for leadership race.
Yeah.
They got a candidate elected, and they disappeared. And they didn't become members, they didn't become supporters, they didn't become donors, and the party ended up with a huge bill for a strange process. So I feel that this is, it was a very... kind of a cheap trick, trying to, pull the wool over people's eyes about what the real problems are, and pretend that there's a solution, that the people are just dying to become involved, but we're not letting them in. In fact, there's a huge history of the party neglecting its existing membership, not activating its ridings, not making them creative, not allowing them to do things, not involving members. And so suddenly you have this new category of people who are supposed to come and solve all the problems, and meanwhile the existing members are left, what? We had to pay the memberships, and we had to do this, we had to do that, and then this amorphous group are supposed to come in and then pitch in, and they don't. So, you have to go much deeper.
One group pays the money, does the work, the other side doesn't pay the money and doesn't do the work? Is that what you're saying?
That's exactly. Yeah. They don't really do anything.
Yeah.
They're not expected to do that. That's what happened in Alberta. Why is the Alberta experience that was quite recent not relevant? That was Alberta liberal experience, not relevant to the federal party, and I was just embarrassed about it, because it was like, let's just trick people into thinking that we've solved the problem. The problem is far deeper, and this has to do with policy.
Yeah, the other thing that, Mary Elena, the other thing that came up was that it might mean that other parties would get up to no good and would sign up as supporters and try to skew the results.
Well,
do you think that would happen?
Well, it could happen. It's opportunity for mischief. It's an opportunity for mischief and sabotage too. But mainly, it's a superficial way of trying to do something and meanwhile you ignore the real issues.
So you're saying the supporters may be supporters and they may vote, but then they don't go on to become members, you don't believe?
That's exactly what happened in Alberta. They had 30,000 people register, and they had almost zero membership come out of that.
Okay.
And $0.
All right, Mary-Elena. Thank you very much.
Their nose.
All right.
So I think it's a cheap shot.
All right, okay. I understand now why you were yelling at your television, okay, Mary-Elena? How would you reply to Mary-Elena's concerns here?
Yeah, I mean, I like the word, she tried to use the word superficial. And in my head, this isn't a superficial change. At the heart of politics is the idea of speaking to constituents, speaking to the people in the community. And there's no better way of doing that than going door to door, asking people if they support Liberal Party. And if they're willing to sign a paper saying that they're a Liberal supporter, then I would take them on their word that they want to get more involved in the political process.
But as Mary-Elena says, when they tried it in Alberta, nobody got involved.
Well, they did get involved initially. And,
yeah, I know. But as you said...